Welcome everybody to the Hollow Talk podcast. This is Jetpack Nick, and I'm here with a very special guest today. Welcoming back, Dope Queen. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? I know y'all miss me.
No, hell yeah. Shit. I feel like I ain't been on here myself in a little minute, let's say taking a little hiatus, little podcast break.
It's okay. But, everybody needs one.
I mean, shit. The world has been in a crazy place. So, taking a little bit of time to detox from talking about those problems or having those conversations is always a good thing.
Right. You talk about the world's been a little.
Yeah, it's been a little murky. It's been a little murky.
Right. Facts. We know.
Yeah, but it's good to be back though, and it's good to have you back. I feel like I ain't talked to you in a minute on a podcast setting.
Yo, it really has. I can't even remember the last time we recorded for real.
Me neither.
It feels good to be back though.
Oh, absolutely.
This is where I need to be.
All right, okay. So let's get right into it. So as the people know, we are podcasters, right? We are fellow podcasters that are in the podcast community, right? So I wanted to kind of address something that I've seen lately on social media and in the podcast community, right? So every time I go to Instagram or Twitter or something like that, I'll always see people post like different podcast clips. And usually it has something to do with similar topics, that being relationships, men and women, the relationship between men and women, who pays for the date, and this, that, and the third, right?
Yeah.
So when I click those videos and I see the comments, I just see a bunch of people always talking about, oh my God, like I'm tired of podcasts, or like everybody got a podcast and everybody talk about the same things, this, that, and the third. So me being a fellow podcaster, you don't want to have that stigma going around in the thing that you're involved in, right?
Facts only.
So, to be able to combat that, you use the platform that you got, which is, in our case, the Hollow Talk podcast, right? You want people to hear podcasts and think good things, right?
Right.
That's not what I feel like people are feeling at this moment. You got some exceptions, you got a few exceptions, but for the majority, people just don't like podcasts right now.
You know what? I don't think it's the podcast people don't like. It's the topic. Like you just said it, right? Everybody's always talking about something that's like real touchy. All these controversial topics people talk about, or like saying things that's just like out of this world. They put a bad taste for other podcasts, like other podcast hosts like us, right? So nobody wants to listen to you babble on about shit that's, oh, did I just curse? Excuse me. My bad. Right? So people are saying, like, I'm not gonna bring up no names. We know who the podcasters are, who out here saying wild things on the internet, right? And like dragging it and causing all everybody to be like, oh, well, I don't like this, and all this back and forth between people, right? I understand, because there's no rules, there's no regulations, there's no policies put in place for podcasts. You can literally get on the internet and say whatever you want, right? Like it's not like anybody controls it. Like nobody's gonna stop you. So when people start talking like that, I understand why people get tight and they be like, I'm sick of these podcasts, hosted by specific people. I understand it. But it really does fuck up a lot of shit for other people, because it'd be like, damn, people gonna be like, fuck these podcasts. They all saying the same shit. Like they all saying the same shit. But I don't the Hollow Talk don't. For anybody that's listening, we don't say the same shit. Like we say real shit. Nothing but facts over here, you feel me?
Yeah, okay. So actually, before we even go further, right? Check out the Hollow Talk podcast, Gary. T-shirts is available right now.
You know what's going on. Closer. You
gotta bring you see me on the jetpack. You know what I'm saying? You see me right there. Right. But T-shirts are on the way. The merchandise will definitely be available on jetpacknick.com very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, back to the topic. So I'm not saying specifically that every podcast is good or every podcast topic is good. There are definitely some podcasts out there where, for lack of words, they they're a little shaky, a little murky.
That's a word. Let's put that out there. That's add that to your vocabulary. Murky.
Right. Murky. You know, and like, you know, a few of them definitely push a lot of negativity, or they like to be I don't even want to use that term. I gotta find another term. Like they just like to give headline type of content, not really substance-based content. And that's fine. There's a place for it, but you can't dominate the community of podcasts with just headline content. You know what I mean?
I do, but then I understand why.
Right. I'm not saying I don't. I just feel like substance content, like you know, we talk a lot about a lot of different things. Like none of our topics specifically are the same thing. We talk to a lot of different people who do a lot of different things. Some people work in the same fields, but most of them do a lot of different jobs, or they just into a lot of different activities. And we get those people to come on here and talk a lot about what they do, or we have these kind of conversations where we talk about specific topics and we just kind of break down the ideology behind why we think what we think, or we talk about the ideologies of other people and why they think what they think and our reactions to that. Some people specifically got podcasts for one specific topic. You know, most of those are relationship podcasts, and that's fine. That's not a problem. But it seems like everybody has a relationship podcast.
Yo.
Or that's like the number one topic that dominates the headlines. Like I told you, every time I click Instagram, every day is who pays the bill, a man or a woman on the date. Somebody got a story about, you know, this, that, or the third. I don't want to say nobody's specific stories or anything like that, or anything that might apply to somebody, but we all on Instagram, so we see what the Shade Room be posting, or Neighborhood Talk, or any of them other publications.
You know, these topics are not necessarily bad, but I feel you, because everybody's doing it. And it's like everybody got these very much is toxic a good word?
Yeah, toxic is actually the perfect word.
Toxic viewpoints on it. And that's what make it like, all right, this ain't it. It's weird. And you know what's crazy is I genuinely want to know why this is always the topic. Like with everything going on in the world right now, why is this the main thing everybody wants to talk about? It's like men against women all the time. Like it's always, like I get we always gonna be neck and neck. I don't know what it's gonna be the thing. It's life, right? It's always gonna be men and women against each other. We always competing for whatever. I don't know what that is. But it's like, damn, y'all really out here saying some wild things, right? Like y'all getting people to the point where like it's like, I'm not listening to that podcast. They all saying the same shit, you know. Everybody talking about the same thing. I don't want to hear it no more. Everybody got the same viewpoints. Like it's never nothing different either. That's the problem too. Nobody ever has a different thing to bring to the table. Like it's always the same perspective from each point. And it's like, y'all not saying nothing interesting no more. Like y'all about to break down the community with this one topic. Like y'all gotta branch out. Diversity, people, diversity. Thank you. That's the word for today, diversity. I wish I could put it up right here so you can see it.
No, and another thing too is like I said, we pod, and I'll just say for me, because I don't want to speak for you. You here to speak for yourself. So speaking for me, right? Like it's not hard, but it almost becomes like I had to defend what I do. Like I don't really feel like you have to do that in every field of work or field of expertise, but for podcasting, I just feel like that's something that I find myself having to do a little bit lately. Like having to, one, defend being a podcaster, and two, trying to figure out how to differentiate what we do on here from what everybody else is doing. Like we've been doing the Hollow Talk podcast for 2 years now, right? Like almost 2.5 years. 4 seasons in, a variety of different content, very, very good content, I might add, right? With a lot of amazing people. And just off the face of it, people might not know that. They might just think, oh, you got a podcast. Like,
right.
I don't know. Like from what I've been seeing, everybody talking about the same thing. And then you gotta, explain like, all right, well, I don't talk about those things. Like I have topics where I may talk about that, but I talk about this also, or I talk to these kind of people, and then you gotta, convince somebody to buy into it, listen to it, or at least give it a chance. Whereas if the community was healthier or a little less toxic,
Mhm.
I think it would be easier to like lead with, hey, like I do podcasts, or I'm a podcaster, or I'm the host of a podcast. People might take it a little more seriously because I kind of feel like it's becoming a joke at this point.
Yep.
And I don't like that because
It
I
definitely is.
take this serious.
It is. I think it's a joke for a lot of other people.
Right.
Like, I think everybody just, let's get a mic and just start talking about anything. Like, I think that's what it really is for a lot of people. Like, it's not, like, I know you take it seriously, right? Like, let's really talk about every topic that's out there. Let's really give viewpoints. Let's really see different perspectives, and let's spread information. Let's get information. Like, that's what I get from the Hollow Talk, right? Because you do cover a lot of things, right? But everybody else is just it's this one topic. Let's get on it. Let's get on the mic. Just talk about it. Let's just talk about anything under the sun that really don't matter. Like, and it really does. And I'm really sorry that you really do have to defend yourself, because it really is crazy how you, and like, I wouldn't, how there's different genres, like podcasts, like you got your true crime, people talk to, like, right? And then you got everybody else. Like, I can't even find other ones, like everybody else, but you fit in that category where you really spread yourself out. Nobody else does that. Like, and that's crazy. It's so crazy that you really got to defend your podcast like that. And I feel really bad because, like, you do a really good job compared to these other chicken heads that really just be out here saying anything. Some of them really don't be doing episodes. Some of people just be up there just talking. Like, and it just be like, what are you saying? Like, what are we talking about? You didn't come up here with an actual topic. You're not saying nothing informational, nothing at all that could actually make me want to come back and listen to it. You just saying some real wild stuff. And I think that's what draws people in. Like, the drama behind it all, right?
Of course.
Like, everything that it causes. And I'm just like, I think y'all really took this whole podcast thing left. Like, it was going right in the beginning. Now we left. Like, it's going to be really hard to get back on track to where people actually want to listen to different things, right?
Absolutely.
And it's frustrating. I feel you. Because you work really hard. You really do. Like, from what I see you do, and to have all these other little chicken heads, you little dummies out here, bro, very disrespectfully. Like, I don't really care. Like, to be out here talking about anything and getting all this attention too. Like, they getting attention, right? And it's like, damn, you want to be different, but like, niggas is really getting clout off that.
No, like, but not for nothing though. Like, not for nothing. Like, that's the same in like every other industry though. Like music, television, film, like anything where people create content, you see a difference between the type of notoriety that the headlines get versus the people who create long-lasting content. Like, the people who create long-lasting, sturdy content, generally you don't see a return off that right away. Like, that's something that people get later on. Like, it might be 2 years from now and people might go back and listen to like old episodes of How Talk Podcast and be like, yo, their conversations was valid. Like, like the whole hour and 50 minutes, the whole 2 hours, like the whole shit was valid. Not just a little 30-second clip or a little minute clip or something like that. Like, I could literally get something from listening to an entire conversation between Jetpack Nick and whoever the person is that I'm on here with. And like I said, for me, that's like the most rewarding thing, being able to have people listen to these conversations and really take stuff away from it, because like, we don't just be on here just to be shooting the shit. Like I mean, sometimes we do, but like most of the time, like we on here to talk about something that's important and that people can take something away from, or something that people could relate to. We talk about real world things that's going on, or like things that's just happening with people in general, or things that's happening with us that people can relate to, that people don't have a platform to say these things on. And like I said, for me, that's important to provide that platform and provide that opportunity for people to not only come on and talk about it, but for other people to hear these things and hear these stories from not just me, but from you and whoever else comes on the pod. And I do feel like a lot of other podcasters, they kind of just come and go. Like they be having podcasts for a month or a couple weeks, and then that shit folds like a briefcase. Like
Yeah,
that, like that don't necessarily look good on everybody else in the podcast community that's really putting in like real work. You know what I'm saying? Like people that's really trying to make something happen in the space. Like this is still a relatively new space, and me and you specifically have been in this space since 2017, 18, something like that. Yeah, so
this is, yeah. You know what? I want to condone you, right? On
condone me? Commend.
Oh my gosh.
Commend.
Okay, because you know how many years of college and still catch that? It's all right. We have mess ups.
For sure.
Now, you did speak on like, you know, you bring different people to the podcast. Now, for a lot of other people, I don't see that. Like, I understand people got their co-hosts, right? And they may have like one little guest or so, but it's always the same type of people. You don't bring on the same type of people. And I like that. Like, you bring on people who got different perspectives, which is valid. Everybody else got the same person that think like them. So you hearing the same thing twice from two different mouths. So it's like, I don't want to listen to this. Like, you having a conversation with yourself, that's cool. You could have did that in the bathroom, bro. Like, I didn't have to sit here. You didn't have to record it. I have to waste my time. And then it's like, you're not allowing, and some people don't even allow the people they bring on as guests to even share their perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, give something different. And it's like, damn, you just wanted a show where you just want to talk. You could have did that. Like you could have did that. And all the stuff that you said that they be saying doesn't need to be on this platform. You know what I'm saying? This platform should be for people who don't usually have their voice, who usually can't talk about certain things. And I feel like that's what podcast was really made for and was what it was created to do. Now, we got people who could be on Instagram saying the same shit they say on podcasts. You can put this shit on YouTube. You can do whatever you want with this. You can go on TikTok. TikTok is a place for this. I'm telling you.
For sure.
Most people do not need a podcast. Make a TikTok account. You fine. You need your little 30-second videos. Go ahead. TikTok is your thing. But podcast is something different. I think it's supposed to be different. Like, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of podcasters that I say are like you, but you're right. Like, they're not known. You know what I'm saying? The people who want to actually do this for, I want to say a living.
No, I mean that's fair to say, for a living. Yeah, like there's a lot of money to be made in the podcast space.
Right. And it's given to the wrong people, right? The people that take this as a joke, that it's just fun to be outside, just playing with people, picking at things, right? And it's really upsetting to a certain point, because I feel like a lot of y'all work hard, but the ones that work hard ain't gonna make it now like everybody else is. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all gonna make it, don't get me wrong. Like, y'all gonna get there, but like you said, it's gonna take years for people to come back and be like, oh, this was fire. Like, why wasn't we on this when it was on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the sad part about it. Like, it's like shaking my head. And we really got people out here really just playing games when they could really be talking about something different, when they could really be on here discussing actual things. You feel me? Like we sit here and we talk about how we need to spread awareness about certain things. We need to really understand what people be thinking and get different perspectives so we could all learn and bring things in, right? And think differently. We're not doing that one here. We're really not. These basic ass topics that nobody really gives a fuck about.
Right.
Like, can we please talk about something different? Please. I'm begging now. Please, can we talk about something? I can't take it anymore. I can't. No, it's like watching the show over and over again on Netflix. I'm cool.
I mean, that's a fact. But like I said, it's kind of similar to like that dope ass TV show that nobody watched when it was on TV, and then you be like, damn, why they only got 2 seasons? Because you niggas didn't watch it when it was on, and it was fire. So now you only stuck with 2 seasons when you could have had 12. Like,
I'm cracking up. Like that song.
Shouts out to Grey's Anatomy and all that. But nigga, how many seasons do I need to see you niggas be in the hospital? Like, you know what I'm saying? You got 40,000 seasons with 20,000 episodes per, like, and they all an hour long. Like, what do you? It ain't that much hospitaling in the world, bro. Like,
talk about that. Yo, you're funny. Like, ain't no way with you right though. Like, same thing with don't get me wrong, I love my SVU, but like, come on, Lord, I need to cut that off. It needs to stop.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, but they great shows though. I'm just using them as an example. I'm just using as an example because they got 1 million seasons and people really watch every episode of these million seasons.
People go back to watch the same episodes they watch. Like, it's all right. Give it a rest. Give it a rest.
So okay, so the point being, right? Point being is like not. I wouldn't even say it's hard per se to like stay consistent or stay persistent with content creating, right? Because there's always something to talk about. Like, don't get me wrong, but some people get into it and it's like, damn, if I don't see the results right away, like I'm just going, pack it up and dip out. Or they start chasing something that's not necessarily natural to what it is that they got into it to begin with. Like I said, we talked about a bunch of different topics with a bunch of different people, and not to say like my shit is failing anything like that, because that's completely not the case. But I'm not necessarily where all a few other podcasts are who are very dope, by the way. But and then some of them, whatever. But they just got the they just got the clout to be where they at, and and I could have been like, you know what, like fuck all the stuff that I'm doing or the ideology that I had going into it, creating this platform for people to just share their stories or feel comfortable being themselves in a place where, in a world where you can't even really feel comfortable being yourself, but at least you could be yourself on the Hollow Talk podcast, right? Like I could have just scrapped all that and said my numbers ain't looking good enough. Like I'm about to just like these hoes ain't nothing, man. Like I'm saying, I could have did that, right? But like for what? That's not natural to what I'm building. That's not natural to what I want to continue to build, and that's not natural to what my vision is. So therefore, I said, forget that. That's not what's most important to me. Good content is good content. People are gonna find a way to gravitate to good content at some point. It don't gotta be today, it don't gotta be tomorrow, but as long as I'm staying true to what I'm doing and continuing to put out solid, sturdy content, the benefits are gonna find its way to be had. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That's first of all a great mindset. Great mindset.
Like, you gotta have it. You gotta have that though. You gotta allow yourself to stay in the game in a sense. Like it's real easy to get sidetracked, but like I said, damn, my numbers not looking how they need to look. Oh, damn, I'm not getting this much money off of this, that, and the third. Like it's easy to just say, fuck all this. Like I'm gonna do something different. But when you really believe in not only your vision, your skill set, but what you building, then it makes it a little bit easier to say, all right, I'm going to stay 10 toes down and I'm going to continue with the grind that I'm on.
All right. That's valid. That really is, right? So, like, in your opinion, when this, because it's going to, right? Because, topics come and go.
Yeah.
When this die out, everybody stop giving a fuck about whatever they talking about, right? Or like, it becomes old news. What happens then? Like what happens to these podcasters? And what happens to the ones that stay down? That's 10 toes down for this shit, like you are, right?
Yeah.
Like you feel like that clout or that support, I'll say, that support that they got won't cross over. Like you feel like they're gonna come looking for something new. That's when it's going like pick up. And that's when we're gonna be up there in them numbers. Which you already are. Like you already, I think you do great enough.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
Like everybody that do mixed content is like doing great already. But like, when that time comes, do you think that that's where everybody will cross over to? That's all the people that took this as a joke.
So okay, so I have two answers to this question. So answer one is I'm not too sure because but and the reason I say I'm not too sure is because you never know what the next hot thing is going to be, right? It's always going to be a hot thing, so everybody's going to gravitate to whatever that thing is, right? Then you also got the other crowd where they're not really too keen on what's popular or what's hot. Like they got their specific thing that they like and they stick to that shit no matter what.
Right.
So you got those two things, and then to answer your other question about just the people that do podcasts, are they going to switch over to it. I really don't think so. I mean, at least for me, I don't think so, because I truly believe on what I got going on, and I think like I make like entertaining enough content to feed that group.
He talking about to feed that group. Okay, all right.
Like my shit is my shit is like entertaining but informational.
Yeah, which is what makes it a good podcast. Which is what podcast
Exactly.
is. Like.
I mean, but everybody. Listen, I'm not saying like you can't be successful in this space, or like if you in this space, like you don't have a place in it. But what I am saying is everybody's not great at everything. Like, and the problem becomes the people that's not so great at this particular thing. Most of those people are the ones that's getting the rewards from it, which makes shit look a little murky.
Okay. How many times we use that word in this episode?
Yeah.
That's crazy, because I agree. I agree. The ones that don't know what the fuck they're doing is the ones that's like really up there in numbers.
Right, but not even just that. They're also the ones that's kind of sort of setting the tone of what you would think when you hear the word podcast, and that doesn't look good on the podcast community as a whole, because it's a relative small percentage of podcasts that are doing those things and are setting that tone, and then it's the rest of us that are like, sticking with our content and making shit that's true to who we are as people and the shit that we want to hear. The problem becomes that little percent of people are dominating the headlines. When you dominate headlines, the masses see that, and that's what they just associate with the community. And that's not necessarily the case. We all don't talk about relationships or who pays on the date, or who's sleeping with this person, and all this whatever. Like, we don't necessarily subscribe to that level of content. But the regular person who's not in the podcast community don't know that. They just think everybody do relationship podcasts and talk about the same things that they see on, like I said, Shade Room or any of them other places.
That's crazy. No, I agree though, because you think of podcasts, who you think of first? What pops up in your head, like the person? Because when I think of podcasts, I don't think about well, I mean, not like, I know because there's a
right.
When somebody be like, yo, did you check out this podcast without even telling me what it is? I already know who they talking about. This is a select few people that I know in my head. Okay, she about to tell me something about that motherfucker that be saying that. Like, it is controlled by them, and it's sad. And I think they know that. I really think they know that. Like, I think they know that this podcast shit is theirs, and which is really fucking sad. Like, I don't even know what to say to it. Like, what does it say about like people that listen to it? Like, those people that support.
That's a good question.
Because I think half of their listeners don't be supporters, which is
exactly
crazy. Just be people that be getting tight what they say and just want to react. You know what I'm saying? Just want to be there quick to be like, oh, you dumb motherfucker. You don't you that you shouldn't think like that. Like, people who,
which is counterproductive to the idea of what podcasts. Now, I wouldn't even say should be, but should be, right?
Right.
Like, it's not something for you to want to just react to some bullshit. Like, like I said, those podcasts have their place. Like, I'm not saying like podcasters should stick to this specific type of podcast or this specific type of content. What I am saying is it's bad when those podcasts dominate the image of what the podcast community looks like. We all don't look like that, and that's not what we all do. We all got different categories that we fit in under this umbrella of podcast community, right? You got your people who make strictly entertaining podcasts. Like, they could give a fuck about information. Like, I'm just here to entertain. I'm here to crack jokes. I'm here to talk shit about people. That's fine, right? Then, like I said, you got your informational podcast. You got your business podcast. You got your environmental podcast. You got your you know, like, you got a bunch of different things, and then you got your sports podcast. You got whatever. I happen to, talk about all those things.
And all them categories, bro. That's all you. Those you fine.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing too is like you don't want to get boxed in either. Especially you especially don't want to get boxed in to something that you have no association with, because that's what the image is. Like I don't talk about relationships like that for real. I got like 2 relationship episodes. Which have done very well, I might say, but that's a direct result of people's people's idea of what the podcast is or what they look for within a podcast. Like I got 70 episodes. My 2 highest listened to episodes are the relationship ones.
You're lying.
I'm serious.
No.
Yeah.
I don't even want to believe you, but I know you're right because you check your stats or whatever. But like, ain't no way.
Yeah, and I've talked to a lot of dope individuals about a lot of dope shit.
Right. So ain't no way that's the one. Yo, what's wrong with people?
But the ones that are at the top of the list are the ones where I just sat around with a few friends and talked about relationships. Like,
first of all, I commonly would have thought the college series would have been the most listened to. I really did, because that's my favorite. I ain't even know, not because I'm in there, but because I understand. It's like a thing. You talk about some shit that we all kind of experience,
right.
So it's that's valid. But out of all episodes,
to
a relationship,
yo,
really? Seriously, what does that say about listeners, yo? Like, what does that say about everybody right now? Why is that the number one thing? Like, why is that something that's important?
I mean, like, I don't really know.
But like, it's not at the same time. Like, it's not like it's entertaining. I get right to see people different viewpoints or whatever, and it's kind of funny, when people get into talking shit like that. I'm pretty sure they are, because I remember. But come on now, like, ain't no way.
Yeah,
that's sad. That's really sad.
So like I said, as somebody who looks at these numbers and be like, damn, like these number 1 and number 2, like on my most listened to episodes, given that I've done so many other episodes with so many amazing people, and we've had so many amazing conversations, right? Just off the strength that the title has something to do with relationships, that's the one that people gravitate to and click on first. Now, granted, I'm appreciative of this, right? Because they were amazing conversations, and they contribute to the success of the How to Talk podcast. But just taking a step back and looking at it in the grand scheme of things, it's like, damn, why don't the other content do as well as this specific topic? And I feel like I've outlined as to why, like, relationships dominate the headline. So therefore people are going to gravitate towards that specifically, which is fine. But what about the podcasts that don't talk about relationships at all?
Yo, it'd be dope to get people who do all other like different categories of like under the podcast, right? Everything else, and be like, yo, like, I want to see their viewpoint. I want to see their listeners, right? Because I know some people do really well for their podcast. Like,
absolutely.
Really, that don't have nothing to do with anything, right? Like being there talking about books and stuff like that. Like, people love that. So I'm like, what is it about that? Like, what happens? Like, I'm stuck. First of all, I'm still baffled at the relationship episodes out of all your episodes, bro. Like, I'm hurt a little bit. I didn't go hold you. Come on now, y'all. Let's branch out. That's one. And then it's like, damn, does nobody want to learn anything anymore? Is that the thing? Are we caught up in shit that doesn't really matter? Like, are we not focused on what really the bigger picture is right now? Like, do we not want to take information and give information no more? Like, what is that? Like, social media fucked us up. Social media has fucked us up, bro, because ain't no way. Ain't no way, yo.
Yeah, listen, I just see it happening in front of like literally every day. Like, I go on Instagram or Twitter, and the same conversations are being had, like the exact same conversation. Somebody sitting in their car, got their phone, is talking about something specific to relationships, and that's what dominates the cycle. Now, like I said, it's not a it's I ain't even gonna say it's not a problem. Like it has its place, but like everybody is doing this shit, bro. Like everybody, like don't nobody got nothing different. Like nothing different is headline worthy at all.
I'm gonna do a study on this. Like, really do a study on this. Like, I have to. This is ridiculous. Because nobody really does. Nobody has no content that is worth, like, you know, worth anything. Worth sitting around and waiting an hour to listen to some shit. Like, I don't, like, how much relationship advice you really gonna give out to people? Oh, well, this is not working. Like, you know, and that'd be crazy too, because you really can't give out advice because shit like that don't really work for everybody. So I'm like, y'all just talk about your business. Is it the drama that y'all attract?
Thank you. Right there. Like that's what it becomes after a while. It's just people kind of sort of snitching on themselves. It's like, for
Damn.
what? Like, for what? Like, you could have kept that to yourself. You could have kept that in the draft. So whatever they say, like,
right, you could have kept that in the draft. like that's no, because that's really all it is. That is literally Instagram stories. You could have just put this on your Instagram story, like, yo, damn, that is insane. And it, like, off the relationship, it be the disrespect people be getting support over too.
That too.
Like just overall disrespect. Like, it be nothing valid. Like, you can have your opinions, but your opinions cross over into something where you gotta hurt people, you gotta say some things. It'd be like, well, damn. How did y'all make it this far? Why are people still watching this? And it's alarming because it'd be a lot of people. So that means you got people that think like that.
Exactly.
Like, a lot of people that support you that think like that. That's just walking around like that. It was scary. It really is. And it's sad because people like that, when they get that clout, right? And they get that platform and they get able to talk about stuff like this, they create, like, I wouldn't say it's cults. I don't give a damn if I say cults. I don't care. Yeah, y'all got your little groups. Like, you know how Beyonce got the Beehive? And if she's saying the Beehive gonna jump on you, this is what that is. But it's be dangerous shit, right? Like I said, there's no rules to this. Like, you could literally get up and say anything. You can do it. It's alarming, bro. It's so alarming, bro. People out here really disrespecting each other and people are supporting it. Like, why is this entertaining for y'all? Are we not adults?
I mean, I gotta preface my comments before they try to cancel me.
I mean, say what you gotta say. Everybody else does. That's me.
So, okay, so shit, you got me in a thing. Okay, so I just want to address the idea of of the people who come on podcasts and disrespect other people just for fucking clickbait and achieving headline stories and all this weird shit, right? It's for that right there though, there's no place for that shit.
Right.
In this community at all. There's no place for that shit at all, bro. Like,
right.
And these be the same type of podcasts or podcasters that be reaping the benefits off of shit that they shouldn't even be in the first place. Like, what are you coming in here to disrespect and violate for? What's the reason? and like you said, to the people that listen to those people and subscribe to the type of thinking that they think, what does that say about y'all?
Bruh, this is way too much. Like I always thought about it, but now we get into it, it's like, damn, these niggas got power. Like, unfortunately, power. Like, that's, you know, power is a scary motherfucking thing. We all want it too. That's crazy. Really out here disrespecting you for you really said it. That's crazy.
For clout. But even then too though, like, you know, they'll say some foul stuff and be like, oh, but like I really ain't mean that though. that's not like you can't just say shit like off the cuff because people take it and run with it. Like not everybody know that you joking or you
like
playing
you
like
yeah
like people, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean they've been telling us this since we was kids, like your words hold power, right? So you kind of gotta mind what you say and just relax on putting certain things out there because not everybody understand where you come from with certain things that you say, right? So for me, when I come on the pod, I try to, you know what I'm saying? I try to put things in words and phrases that aren't too wild or too crazy, or
right.
or like for my guest fans, because like I never try to set my guests up to say something super crazy. Like some podcasters or interviewers or whatever, they set their guests up to fail. they will set their guests up to say some of the most outrageous, outlandish shit you could think of, and won't even be like, that you don't think that sounds crazy? It's like, and that be the name of the game because of the fact that it's gonna make the headlines. You don't really care about the well-being of the person that you're talking to or the well-being of the people that you be talking about. That should be kind of crazy to me.
Yo, that's crazy because you did say this is like every other industry.
Yeah.
It's becoming that. Well, it became that. Can't even say it's becoming. It became that. It really did, and it's sad because it's like, what does? And you brought up a good point because I always thought about it. I was like, yo, what does that do to your reputation after this? Like,
that right?
What does that do? Because like God forbid, right? I don't wish no bad on nobody, but God forbid your podcast, drop. Like, just drop you. Like you're dumb now. Nobody want to fuck with you no more. Nobody wants to listen to it. What can you do after this? Like, where can you go? Because this shit gonna be on the internet forever.
Forever.
Like, everything you said gonna be around forever. Like, and it'd be scary because it'd be like, yo, like, then y'all be up here saying wild shit. Like, can y'all walk around the street like freely anymore? Like I ain't even hold you. I ain't scared of a lot of things, but mildly, like I'd be like, let me watch what I say on the internet because somebody gonna catch me and be like, mink, 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 and I like, I can't be caught. Can't catch me like that. No, thank you. But it's like y'all be saying wild out here. People, we lost our mind after quarantine. So it's like, can you imagine? And then ruining, like you said it, they be coming for like guests. You know how people be on Twitter and they say certain things to trigger people so they can get They do that. So it's like, what happens to them people? Like you purposely out here fucking up somebody else's shit so you can bring yourself up. That's crazy. This is the world we live in. This is what we do. This is what the podcast life is now. That's sad. It's not what I thought it was. And it's not, I'm not saying I want to be a part of it, but it's like, man, it really is. There's always going to be separate groups of everything. It's never nothing that we can all be like, all right, this is one valid ass community. It's not no more. This is weird. This is every other industry there is now. Like, it's sad. It really is. It's horrific.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So we got into the podcast space together, right? Like we had our podcast back in school called Nothing But Facts. Very, very good podcast.
Right.
For the short time that we did it, right? When you agreed to get in the podcast space, right? What did you get into the podcast space to do or achieve?
To achieve. So the goal, right? The overall goal, right?
Yeah.
Tired of hearing things that wasn't true. Or we lived on a campus. Initially, we lived on a campus where we felt like our opinions was heard, but they were right. So to get on there, like you said, to have that platform to talk about it, to talk about everything. Because I'm like, around the time that we was doing it, there was one specific topic that kept coming up. Right? There's always gonna be topics that come up because it's America. Fuck it, right? And if me saying that didn't give y'all an insight to what the topic was, you're right. But like, I was like, this is sickening. And it's like, there's other things in the world. There's other things that we could be talking about. That and us together, we talk about everything. And we always have opinions on everything. And we got valid, I'm going to say it's valid because, we valid like salad. but we got valid opinions on everything, right? We got different perspectives. We got a very diverse friend group, right? So we got everything. We got everything where it comes from. Like they think some certain way, we think a certain way, other people think a certain way, but we talk it out. You know what I'm saying? So we get perspective. When we get information, we give information. That's what the overall, agenda was for me when we started the podcast. Like I wanted to be out there. I wanted to talk to the people. I wanted to understand more. I got a very curious mind. You know what I'm saying? Like we build this up. We get to talk to people. We get to do different things, bring it in, things that I haven't heard, right? Things you can't hear on the radio because they got rules and regulations and shit they got to follow. So it's like, let's really get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's hear from the people that don't really get that platform to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? From the people who don't really have a voice anywhere else. So that's the overall agenda. That was my overall agenda. Not to be talking about that really didn't matter, but matters to people for whatever fucking reason. I keep cursing. Like
it's cool. You passionate on what you're talking about.
Yeah, because it makes me sad. Because I do love podcasts. Don't get me wrong. Like I just couldn't keep up with everything else in the podcast. So it's like it's great to have this platform where you could just talk, like talk, like not even just to be out here talking about nonsense. Like you could have, your fun conversations where you could like key and say some wild shit. That's fun. That's cool. But to get on here and spill some real information, some real shit that have people really thinking, that's me. Like I think everything is a form of art. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
To think, to imagine, to expand. And you come on here and your mindset is just stuck on one thing. I can't stay there. That pisses me off to like a different level. And they'd be like, all right, I can't do this anymore. Everybody got the one-sided view and I don't want it.
No, and like so like for me, right? No, I'm gonna kind of like put a correlation between this. So I watch a lot of stand-up comedy, right?
Right.
The stand-up comedians that separate themselves from the rest of the group are the ones that get on stage and not even seem what they're the ones that have conversations. Like it's not just jokes. They get on stage, they have conversations about real life things that are going on. The Dave Chappelle's, the Cat Williams, the Richard Pryors, the George Carlins, there's a bunch of other comedians, right?
Right.
For me, being in a podcast space, right, I kind of hold that same kind of ideology. Yeah, I can be entertaining, right? I can give you so much entertainment, but you have to have substance to go with it or to be behind it, right? Making it be like a base. The base of the conversations that we have are information driven,
right?
Conversation starters, allowing people an opportunity to be expressive, right? In the midst of those things happening within a conversation, you'll get a little bit of entertainment. You'll get, a little bit of razzle dazzle, a little bit of pizzazz, right? But the fact remains the same, that you're getting something good from these conversations. It's not just entertainment. You're getting real conversations that you won't hear everywhere or that you won't feel comfortable talking about if that's something that you want to talk about. There's only a few places where you could do that. That's sometimes at home, the barbershop, and the Hollow Talk podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, so me getting in this space, I wanted to provide that platform, not just for myself, but for the people that I invited into my space. All right. Like, I don't have to have people come on here and talk about whatever. I could have just sat here and talked about whatever the hell I wanted to talk about. But that wasn't what the vision was. The vision is and remains to be creating this platform for people to be unapologetically themselves, speak on things that they wouldn't normally feel comfortable speaking about in other places. Because you know as well as I do that a lot of us can't express ourselves the way that we want to express ourselves everywhere for a lot of different reasons, right? This platform right here, the How to Talk podcast, is not one of those places where you would feel those restrictions. And for me to be able to say that, and for you and whoever else was to come on here and be a part of this space to feel that also, that means more than the headline.
Right.
Creating that substance, creating that relationship, creating that level of trust is what for me separates me from the rest of these podcasts that aren't necessarily doing that. And shouts out to the ones that are doing it, because I can't be the only one
right.
that, you know what I'm saying? Like it like for this community to function properly, it takes a community. A community isn't just one person. A community is a bunch of people working hand in hand to achieve a shared goal. And that shared goal, at least for me, is providing platforms for people to be themselves and speak on things and feel comfortable and safe speaking on those things. And so far, I feel like I've done a very good job of doing that.
Yeah. You pat yourself on the back. Yeah.
Just saying, pat my man right here. You know
right.
Saying, little jetpack neck. Yeah. So that's the end of my TED talk on that.
He took us in my TED. Yeah, but that's a valid point though. Like, be able to create that space, that safe space, and that's amazing because, like we just discussed, like nobody else does that. Like, I'm not gonna say nobody else does that, but the most popular podcasts don't do that, right? Like, it's not. I don't see it as a safe space, right? I see it as a space where you could be vulnerable, you could be open, right? You could speak your mind or whatever, but it's not safe. Given the support they got and who watches them and who views them, it's not really a safe space to speak because you really have to watch what you say. Although they don't, right? You know, freedom of speech, I guess, whatever.
Right.
But it's not, because at some point when you get that, damn, I hate using the word clout, but you know, support from them people, like that space is no longer safe. Because you get to talk about whatever. You get to talk about anything. So you're going to start saying whatever. You're not going to think of what, like, on top of your head, right? You see how you talk softly about things, right? You watch what you say. Nobody else going to watch what they say. That's where the disrespect comes in, right? Everybody going to be saying anything, right? Or they're going to be saying things they can't take back. And that's the worst thing. So you can't take back that people catch on you. That's sickening, right? Like, or like even bringing people on the show, have open up, right? And then to take what they said and twist it, or like to make it seem some type of way, or like to put words in their mouth, like that's not safe for your guests. You know what I'm saying? That make me never want to come on your show. That make me never want to follow you on any media website platform at all. Like that. I think that's really big, and I like how you do it, because we've been doing it since Nothing But Facts, like creating space where, like, oh, feel free to say.
Oh, absolutely! Like we've had those conversations with different people who've talked about
recorded,
right? And they came, they like just fuck even coming on the pod. They would sit down with us and would talk to us about what was going on or what they felt comfortable talking about. And then that transitioned into them getting on the podcast with us and feeling open to talk about some of their most deepest, darkest situations, most traumatic experiences, most fun experience, like anything, like just something that they wouldn't normally feel comfortable talking to anybody about, let alone somebody they just met.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's something about us. Maybe we got that.
Yeah, for sure. We like that.
Yeah, like, oh, I see you. Oh, yeah, you feel like that's valid, yo. Like, shout out to anybody that's ever been on a podcast with us. Like,
absolutely.
They'll be wrong, but I don't never think I'm wrong. But I like that. I like that space to create, because I know for a fact that, you know, even when I'm not on like this platform or any other platform, I'm in a space that I'm uncomfortable. I'm not about to talk. I'm not about to open up. I'm not about to do none of that. I'm gonna be shut down. You know what I'm saying? So in order to make people feel comfortable, that's my thing, because I like to feel comfortable. So you gonna feel comfortable, that's valid. And I like that. First of all, I think without the podcast, we talk to a lot of people naturally.
Absolutely.
So everybody was always comfortable around us. I think people actually came to us to talk. Let's really talk about it.
For sure.
Like outside of everything. So it was so easy to be like, hey, you want to think about this? With y'all? Yeah, of course. Everybody was always excited and we loved it. And like I said, we don't talk about one topic. Like, we can start with one topic, but we're gonna get into everything under the sun. So it was like, oh wow, like I think people was really like infatuated with that about us or about you for real.
Wow.
I get tired, like, all right, talking must stop.
No, but look, but like, okay, so again, not for nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, for me, I realized early that it's very important to have at least one person that you could feel comfortable talking to, because that could make the difference between this side or that side. Like, I'm not gonna, put it into the most extreme terms, but even then, it could literally be the difference between that or that. Right? So being able to provide a level of comfort for anybody, and like, and it don't even got to be to a point where I know something is going on crazy. Like, just you wanting to feel like, I've been thinking about this shit all day, like, and nobody understand what's going on. Like, not even to say I gotta understand exactly what you're talking about or even agree with what you're talking about. Just you being like, this how I'm feeling, this what I'm thinking, I'm gonna say it, and just provide you a space to be like, oh, all right, go ahead, I'm gonna just chill, let you get your shit off. Like, like that could be the difference between a lot of different things. So me being able to be one of those people to provide that level of comfort and trust, that shit is like unmeasurable or immeasurable, however, whatever the word is.
No, yeah.
So like I never wanted to be one of those people who twisted your words around or put you in a position to fail with this conversation that we having, or for you to say some shit that you ain't really want to say, or you ain't really intend to say, or stir you up to the point that you want to say some crazy stuff. Like, never wanted to be that. You never know how a conversation can change something for the better, or in some cases for the worse. And I never wanted this to be that. I always wanted to be, this conversation changes things for the better, whether it's something small or something drastic. As long as you felt cool when you said, all right, and we wrapping up, I'm thinking the How Tell Podcast listeners and supporters, if you felt cool at the end of that and you was like, thank you for providing me this opportunity to talk about whatever or whoever, like,
you get a lot of those. You really do.
Absolutely. And like I said, shouts out to those people, because I mean, like I said, I think I'm an entertaining dude, but I wouldn't even want to hear myself talk to myself all day. Like, no. Having dialogue with other amazing people is what is going to last. Like, that matters. Being able to hear two people have a conversation about whatever topic, and you being a listener and just taking what it's important in that conversation and applying it to, you or how you felt this day or how you might feel tomorrow. Like, that is important. Just like with music, you might hear a song today at 24 years old, and then you might hear that same song at 40, and you might get a whole different like feeling of hearing that song, or a whole different idea of hearing that song. And you be like, damn, I ain't understand that back then, but now this shit crystal fucking clear. Like,
yeah, yo, right. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That takeaway from these podcasts, from your podcast and the podcasts that do what you do, right? Or the things that's just significant,
Yeah.
That takeaway is very important. You're definitely right. It really is. I be feeling after when I used to be on the podcast a little bit more, right? Like that takeaway at the end, like we stay on the phone after we finish recording, right? we'd be talking about it, right? And I'd be like, yo, that was valid. Like, you brought up some really good points that my mind is moving. Like I like stuff like that. Or like when people be like, yo, that was valid. Like, I've had people like be like, yo, I listen to the podcast. Like my own family, right? And my own family they barely listen to me talk to them like face to face. So I remember I had my father over me. He's like, yo, you really think that way? That's crazy because I thought that way. And I was like, first of all, pause. I was like, well, you listen to it? Like, you heard that. And I was like, wow. And if like, if I know my father, he's very, like, something in his mind is not going to change type person. So when I get him thinking, you get people to thinking and taking away and stuff like that, that's the thing, bro. Like, little dance on that, you hear me? Like, that's nice. That's crazy, though. Especially the guests. I like that. I like that part where you was like, because you do. You're that type of person, right?
What?
Where you could sit down and let anybody talk.
Oh, for sure.
Like I know, because I've done it to you multiple times, so thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. I enjoyed it.
But like, like to let people vent and open up about things they're not usually comfortable opening up about, then giving them that safe space, that space for release, right? And then you be giving things back. Like you may not think it, but you give advice back.
Yeah,
it be valid advice. Like you give. I love that word valid because I know I said it like 50 million times in this, but like you give valid advice, bro. Like enough to that, people listening to it and they probably going through the same thing. They be like, yo, that's crazy. I'm like, that's wild that you said that. Like, like it don't even got to be advice. You just be saying things from different perspectives, right? Like you was talking to some of our professors, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was listening to them talk and I was listening to y'all talk and I was just like, yo, that's crazy. Like I never knew that either they felt that way or like they knew I felt that way or like, that's crazy. Like, this is how we saw it. This is how you saw it from our perspective, or like to understand a little bit better from certain things. And it's just like, yo, I'm glad he did this. Like just being a listener, I'd be glad for certain things and with certain people, specific people, right? And then I got tired of talking. I got to pause for a second.
Oh, I mean, I can interject. That's
no. I know you can't do what you do. I'm just saying, breathe out. Kind of water.
Oh no, I got it. Okay. So I take a breather. I'll interject. So pertaining to that one specifically, right? So like when I think about what you was talking about earlier when you was talking about the college series, right? Like the college series is something that's like really, really dope, and you get to hear so many different perspectives from so many different people that have so many different roles in this institution in college, right? Like I said, we talked to professors, we talked about our college experience, we talked to postgraduates and like about their experience, like just graduating and what the world looks like after graduation. We talked to kids that's still in school. We talked to kids going into college from high school. We talked to law students, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we talked to so many different, like, so many different people within the same system. And you can be a listener and get something specific from each of those conversations, right? Like kids are going to be going into college literally every single year. Right. So the kid that's 16, 17 right now, they could listen to one of our episodes and be like, all right, I kind of got an idea on what college may look like. Okay, they was talking about this. Oh, all right, like these the angles I should be looking at certain things from. Or like when they get into college and they start experiencing different things, they be like, damn, this is what they was talking about. Like, all right, so now I might know what to do after this. Or like whatever the case may be. But just like I said, having that conversation available for somebody to just go listen to and take whatever they're going to take from it, that's dope as fuck. Like, because like for me, like if I knew in 2006, okay, let's just say in like in like another world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Hollow Talk podcast existed, right? And I was
Yeah.
just going into college in 2016, like I was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was a listener, an avid listener of the Hollow Talk podcast, and I seen the college series was available right before I went to school. Like that shit would have changed my entire like outlook on what college was going to be or going to look like to a degree, what I felt like I should do going into it and going through it, how I should be more equipped to deal with certain people or certain challenges that come with being a college student, what to expect once I graduated from college. Like all those things would have been like so much clearer to me instead of me having to try to figure it out on the fly and and try to get advice from people who are going through the same experience that I'm going through when none of us know what the fuck we're doing.
I definitely right. Yo, that's I want to say, you know how your parents tell you stuff to keep you out and fall into the little holes in life or whatever? Podcasts do that. Like, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I know I don't want to listen to my parents, right? I don't want to listen. Not that I don't want to listen, but what do y'all know? You know what I'm saying? Like, but if another
what do y'all know?
yeah, I don't listen to that. But like another person outside, like, yo, you're gonna fall into this because it happened to me, right? And they explain the experience better. Because parents are not going to explain themselves to their kids because it's gonna be like, you're the kid. Listen to what I'm saying. But let somebody come in and be like, yo, this didn't happen. I just got out of college. I did this, all of this, right? That's valid. I'm gonna listen to it. Like you just said it, but like I'm just like, I'm gonna be more subjective. Is that the right word?
I just go with it.
To listen to that podcast before I listen to my parents. Boom, bow, fixed it. Like it's gonna be something different. And you know what? I really do wish. Like I really wish, maybe you was a little bit older and you already had the podcast. So I could have heard that before I went to college. Because it really did. Like mentally. That's why I'm a little crazy now, y'all. But I really wish I did have something like that. Or like anything. Anybody to like talk to. Like I got siblings, but my brother's years older than me. College not the same, but to have somebody like just graduated or like still in their second year of being a podcast, right? Or like, yo, this is what happened to me. And me giving specific stories, that's valid. I like stories. Stories be like, oh, word. That way when you get put into it, it's like, that happened to somebody else. But they said to do this. All right, maybe I could use what they said, right? You don't got to give, you don't got to do the exact same thing, but maybe you know how to maneuver yourself out of that. Like, I wish somebody really taught me how to like balance social life in school. Nobody, I really wish we had like a better example of that. I really, really do, because that shit almost took me out, dog.
Well, shit, you made it though. I mean, most of us made it. Most of us did.
Most of us made it. Yeah.
I mean, I can't say all of us because that would be a lie.
Right. He talking about because that would be a lie. Like what? Yeah, that's a fact. Though. That's a figgity fact. What you be saying? That's a Snapple fact.
That's a Snapple fact for sure.
Yo.
Yeah, I mean, so they kind of put a bow on it. They kind of put a bow on the conversation, like the whole topic of the podcast space being saturated or being controlled by a select few of podcasts. It's going to continue for as long as this continues. I can only do my part in trying to change the narrative, and while also maintaining my sterling reputation, being the amazing podcaster that I believe I am. I mean, shit, you got pipe yourself up, a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's gonna be challenging always, but I just find it a little more difficult now, just due to the stigma that's put on podcasts. But saying all that to say, for me and for anybody else, stand 10 toes on what you're doing. Have a vision. Allow yourself space and opportunity to continue to create content. Everybody's not going to reap the benefits of being a content creator right away. Sometimes it takes a little minute. That microwave food don't taste as good as that home cooking. You feel me? So
that was good. Like,
so you gotta stand 10 toes. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your vision, and hopefully the narrative changes around people's opinions on podcasts.
Fuck it. Not hopefully. We gonna change it, bro.
No, yeah. Like I said, we gonna do our part. I can't say I'm gonna single-handedly change the podcast game, but I'm definitely gonna do my part and make my mark and make my statement while I'm in the podcast space. The Hollow Talk podcast ain't going nowhere, so y'all niggas better get ready. You see me on the shirt, you see me.
Wait, I'm playing the titty in the camera again. Titty here to stay.
Yeah, but you got 3 gems for the people before we officially wrap up?
Yes. All right. So first gem, allow yourself to broaden your perspective, your horizon on life, right? Don't listen to the one thing. Branch out a little bit. That's one. If you are one of those individuals with that stigma on podcasts, just stay here. Stay here for the Hollow Talk. Everything is here. Everything is here. And like overall, right? Was that a good way to say that? No. See, words is hard to find when you got it.
I'm not rushing you. You're good.
Figure it out, right? Like, that's crazy. You know what? Like, damn. Oh man, I can't say that. I'll put on that too. I'll tell you after that, and if it sounds valid, then you can, put it in the caption or whatever.
Yeah, for sure, most definitely.
I will say it on here, and I become one of the others. If that.
Okay, I'll just give you the third one. Don't ever let nobody get you down.
Okay.
That's never mind. Forget it. It doesn't matter. Just don't ever let nobody get you down.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, you got anything else you wanted to talk about specifically?
No, but if you're a podcaster, like, really listen to this episode and like take away certain things that I want to say. Nick is the better host. I will say that because I don't do this as often as I should. So I take away from the things that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you move with your host, right? And how you do I say promote your podcast? How you do, like, how you podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Is how, right? Take notes on this. Like, this is valid. All the other shit gonna be fun for right now, but is it really gonna last?
Hey, listen. What they say? You want to be a trend or you want to be Ralph Lauren?
Hello.
Shit. Well, with that, I guess we go sign out. This has been another episode of the How Talk Podcast. I want to thank Dope Queen for coming on and being my co-host on this episode. I also want to thank the How Talk Podcast listeners and supporting us through and through. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, and we thank y'all. And we will be back with another episode, Dope Queen. I thank you. I appreciate you. I love you.
Love you too.
And we'll be back with another episode. Peace.
Peace.